Hi, y'all. I'm Barry Hack. Today we'll talk about grace. Last week we talked about mercy. We all know what justice is. Justice is something that we want for our, not for ourselves, but for everybody else, right? Someone cuts you off, you want a cop there to give them justice. Someone does you wrong, you want your boss or something else to come by to give them justice, what they deserve. And it's true, justice is what we deserve. But we all want mercy. We all want grace. When you're late to work, you want your boss to give you mercy, to give you grace and not count that tardy towards you. If you miss time or whatever it is, the police officer pulling you over, you want grace. Give me a warning this time, please. Let me go. Don't give me a ticket. We want mercy. We want grace when we've done wrong. And so in the Bible, in Matthew chapter 1, we see a list of names for the genealogy of Jesus, Jesus' descent. And one of the names that'll pop out to you when you read it is Ruth. Ruth was a Moabite. She was not a Jewish descendant. She was a Moabite. She married in to a Jewish family. One of Naomi's sons married her. And I'm giving out a lot of names right now, so let's get back to the basics. Naomi and her husband, Elimelech, left the Jewish nation, or Bethlehem, Judea, Jerusalem, all those towns. They left the Jewish nation and they went to Moab and lived there for quite a long time, I think it's about 10 years in all. And while they were there, Naomi's husband passed away. Then her two sons passed away, and she's left with two daughters, Orpah and Ruth. And as she's leaving, deciding to head back to her hometown because she heard that the famine had been relieved. There was a famine, that's the whole reason they left. Went back there because there was food, and she was going to leave her two daughters in Moab. Orpah went away, even though she said she was going to go. She eventually says, I'm going to go back to my people. But Ruth clung to her. One of the famous lines of Ruth giving to Naomi is, your people will be my people, and your God will be my God. Ruth loved Naomi, and somehow Naomi's witness got through to Ruth, and Ruth wanted what Naomi had, a relationship with God. Ruth follows her back to the hometown. Naomi by this time is older, poor, coming back. She's lost her land. She's lost everything. And so she gets back to town and she goes, Ruth, sweetie, we got to find you someplace to go find us some food. We got nothing. It's not like they're coming home to a, house with full cupboards and everything like that. A famine had just ended. So no food in the cupboards, all that kind of stuff. It's not good. So Ruth goes out and she begins to glean. Gleaning is getting grain from the field. So they go along, pick. There's like a little piece of grain there, and she picks it up and she holds it. It's a lot of work for not a lot of reward. Well, Boaz notices her, comes over and says, you know what? Pull out a little bit of the grain and leave her a little bit more so it's not such a hard day's work from her. Ruth was a great worker, and long story, I'm trying to make it shorter for you because it is 4 chapters. Long story short, Ruth ends up asking Boaz basically to redeem her. And by redeeming her, taking her as his wife, he's redeeming Naomi. He's giving her protection and money basically to live since she has no husband and she has no sons. And then everything was transferred down by men. If you're a woman, I'm sorry, ladies, you didn't get the money. It all went to the men back then. So here's Ruth finding favor in Boaz's eyes, and Boaz says, I'd love to do it right now, but there's someone else who can get you taken care of. I'm going to go ask and see if he wants to, and if not, I will. Boaz goes and asks this other guy. They do this big scene of exchanging sandals. This other guy says, yeah, I want the land. I want to acquire. I want it. And he says, well, when you do, you're going to have to take this lady as your wife, and you're going to have to produce children in keeping with the kinsman redeemer tradition. The guy goes, whoa. I do that, I might jeopardize my own estate, which means he could lose money and give it to this other family, and he didn't want to do that. Boaz says, that's good news to me because I do. A kinsman redeemer is someone who goes out and helps those who are close to him, family members and such, that can't help themselves. They are lacking the necessity, the power, the money, the means, whatever you want to say. They go out and help. A kinsman redeemer in this case is Boaz. Ruth and Naomi had no money, no plans of opening a company and making any kind of money or getting grain out of their fields because they hadn't planted. They had no grain to plant in the fields to wait a whole year to reap that reward. They were as broke as you can get and as needy as you can get. And here God is giving them grace. He's giving them supplies. He's giving them cause to go on, so to speak. So Boaz says, I'm going to take care of you. I'm going to redeem you. And the day I redeem you, your mother-in-law can come stay with us. How awesome is this? And I want to help you understand the awesomeness of this. Naomi was a Moabite. She wasn't a Jew. All she had done was worked hard and been faithful to her mother-in-law. Boaz was a good Jew, and when I say Jew, I want you to modernize it as Christian. So he was a good Jew, and he went out there and he redeems Naomi. He redeems Ruth. He basically provides a future for them. And in doing so, God allows something awesome to happen. Ruth gives birth to a son, and they name him Obed. Obed is the father of someone you may recognize from 1st or 2nd Samuel, Jesse, because Jesse is the father of David. Anybody who's read the Old Testament loves David. Why do we love David? David was a giant killer. David was a heart after God. He loved God. Now I want you to look back. Grandmother, great-grandmother, grandfather, great-grandfather, what did they do? They received grace and they gave. And this grace was poured out upon them and upon their families to come down through the line. They loved and they gave. And it produced such a great line. And I want to remind you of one important fact when we get to the New Testament. Through the line of David comes Jesus, who is our kinsman redeemer. He's our redeemer. I don't want to say kinsman redeemer. Our redeemer who goes out there and selflessly gives of himself, dying on the cross for our sins. That is the definition of grace. So what can you do to give grace to those around you? First off, when you're wronged, forgive. Yeah, we talked about that already. Forgive as God forgave you. That's giving grace to someone who doesn't deserve it. Someone who has wronged you, what's the thing? They should be wronged back. I mean, that's what the world tells you. They stole from you, steal 4 times from them. They hit you, well, slap them twice as hard and hit them again. That's not the way Jesus tells you to do it. He doesn't tell you to be a doormat and go out there and just get walked all over. That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is not returning tit for tat. When you go out there and someone does you wrong, ask God, God, please help me to forgive this person. Help me to do right, to give grace where you've given grace to me. Help me to forgive. That's what grace is all about. Giving out unmerited favor, undeserved forgiveness for someone. Now, remember, in all that being said, we talked about forgiveness. Forgiveness is about releasing that prisoner that you are holding, and it's you. Letting forgiveness go out releases you from that bondage of holding hatred and anger towards someone. Remember to do that this week. Here in the weeks to come, I am going to be opening up church in my home, 200 Flower Ridge Drive, Fort Worth, Texas. If you don't have a church you're going to, I welcome you to come. I'll post more details on Facebook here in the future. God bless y'all. Love you. Have a blessed week. Bye.